Hi boys and girls, it's time for some math, and today we are on lesson 20 in our Learn books. I'm on page 105, and this is the application problem, and I wanted to review this because it's been a couple days since you had math. You had yesterday off. So in our problem today, we're doing a review of Monday's work. Molly builds a rectangular playpen for her pet rabbit. The playpen has an area of 15 square yards. Estimate to draw and label as many possibilities as you can for the playpen. Okay, so the area is 15. That's the first thing we need to remember. And we need to draw shapes and label their side lengths when the area is 15. Okay, so let's think about how do we do that. We used factors to think of ways that we could get 15. So what times what is 15? Well, on Monday I told you we can always start with 1. So one group of 15 equals 15. And then we just kind of systematically think through our factors. Does 2 times anything equal 15? No, because 2 is an even number and the product would be even. So no, not 2. What about 3? Does 3 times something equal 15? Yes, so I'm writing it down. 3 times 5 equals 15. What about 4? Well, 4 times 4 is 16, but not 15. And then we get to 5. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. And see, now I know I'm done because I already have that combination here. So I know I'll be drawing 2 rectangles. Here's the first one. 1 by 15. Kind of a weird shape. But, you know, we're not judging Molly's playpen building. So this one is 1 by 15 yards, it says, so I'll abbreviate that. Might as well do it right. And then 3 by 15. I mean 3 by 5, my fault. So let's see if I did everything I'm supposed to do. Draw and label as many possibilities as you can for the playpen. Okay, I did that. I think we're good. And we can think, okay, is the area 15? Yeah, one group of 15 is 15. 3 groups of 5 is 15. So my picture matches the math that they showed. Now it says to find the perimeters of the rectangles in part A. Okay, well that's a different thing. Perimeter is the boundary around, not the middles. Area is the middles. Perimeter is the distance around. So for my first rectangle, to find the perimeter, I'm going to label it A and B, just for the sake of making it clear down here. The perimeter of A is 1 plus 15 plus the other 1 plus the other 15 length. So the perimeter equals 16 plus 16, which is 32. Or maybe you did 30, like you joined your 15s and your 1s together. Okay, so for B, the perimeter is 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. So I see 10s and 6. So the perimeter is 16 yards. All right. So this is what we did on Monday. We found, they gave us an area, and then we had to draw. We were doing arrays, and then I showed you, oh, it's also like rectangles. And then we found the perimeter. And what we wanted you to discover, boys and girls, is that the area of 15 can have different perimeters depending on how you draw it, depending on the lengths and the widths. So today, that's 5 minutes of review. Today, we're doing something different. And this is on page 107, and I did want you to do these pages with me today. So get your pencils and your books and stick it through to the whole lesson, because today is a curveball. And if you know anything about baseball, you know that a curveball can be hard to pick up if you're the hitter. That ball moves around and it goes where you don't expect it. And today is a curveball because today they give you the perimeter, but they don't tell you the side lengths. So we are going to be like detectives. If I give you a shape and I tell you the perimeter is 30, they're going to make you think it through and say what the lengths could be. So one more time, just so you see what we're doing. What do you do if you know the perimeter but not the lengths? So I'm going to talk it through, and at the end of the lesson we're going to come back and we're going to write 3 big ideas here so that you walk away knowing how to do math when they throw you a curveball. They give you the perimeter but not the numbers on the lengths of the sides. Okay, so we're not using unit tiles, we're just going to draw with our pencils. Use your pencils to build as many rectangles as you can with a perimeter of 12. Okay, a perimeter of 12. Well, here's the strategy that I'm going to show you, and you may have thought of others, there certainly are others, but let's just get one of them down today. So this problem is different than the one on the application problem. It's different because we're not using the area at all. We just are given a perimeter. So we need to use the perimeter to find the length and the width of a rectangle. We're doing rectangles here. When we knew the area, we used pairs of factors. We thought about what times what equals the area. What times what? When we are given a perimeter, we are not using factors at all. Instead, I'm going to ask you to think of the perimeter we have, and I'm going to ask you to split it in half. And the reason I want you to split it in half or divide by 2 is that perimeter is like a side plus a side plus a side plus a side. And if we split the perimeter in half and just take 2 side lengths, that will give us an amount that we can double to find the other side lengths. The words might be confusing, but let me show you what I mean. If we split 12 in half, we get 6. Okay? So this is the first step. Split the perimeter in half. Now I want you to think to yourself, what can I add up to get 6? Well, I could do 1 plus 5. I could do 2 plus 4. And I could do 3 plus 3. Watch what happens when I think about my ways of getting 6. Watch. Instead of needing to use a letter for the unknown, I can plug in these things that I created. A 1 and a 5. If I have 5 and 1, what will these other S's become? These other side lengths become? They will become 5 and 1. Now what have I drawn? I have drawn a rectangle with a perimeter of 12. See? Because 6 plus 6 is 12. So what I did, I took my perimeter that they gave me, I divided it in half, and then I thought of ways that I can add to get half. So I'm going to do another one for you. You go ahead and you can write this drawing down. So we drew a 1 by 5. Let's draw our 2 by 4. 2 by 4. I'm not even worried about, you know, like this should probably be skinnier and that should be longer. Oh well, we're just working on something new here. So 2 and 4. 2 and 4 equals 6. So if I double it, I have a perimeter of 12, which is what I wanted. So I should have done this differently. Perimeter equals 2 plus 4 plus 2 plus 4. It equals 12. And the perimeter of this one equals 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1. So that equals 12. I ran out of space here. Yeah. I'll put some boxes here to separate my work. And now I have this last one to draw. 3 and 3. That's a square, isn't it? So if I have sides of 3 and 3, and then I double it, I'll get to 12. So the perimeter equals 3 plus the other sides of 3, and the perimeter equals 12. So this one is weird because they tell us the perimeter is 12. And then we have to draw all the shapes, all the rectangles that have a perimeter of 12. And we don't just randomly guess. We have this weird little, I don't want to call it a trick. It's just a math way of thinking, because we're taking a rectangle and we're splitting it in half to find 2 of the side lengths. And then we use what we know about addition facts to think of ways to get that side length that we're looking for. I think it's time to write this down. So if you know the perimeter but not the side lengths, okay, here's some quick things you can do. Think to yourself, what is half the perimeter that they give? What is half of it? Perimeter. We split it in half. We split it in half because then we'll know 2 of the side length possibilities. So when we split it in half, we saw, okay, it's 6. That's the first step. Split it in half. The second step. What can I add? What add-ins can I make? What can I add to equal, I'm going to say, that half? That half, meaning this one, the one you made with your perimeter split. What can I add together to get 6? Because these numbers are the new side lengths. You found 2 of the side lengths, and they help you find the other 2 side lengths, because you can just use what you know about rectangles and how opposite sides are equal, and suddenly you have built a perimeter. So let's see, do I need to write number 3? What can I add? Okay, I'll write number 3. Use the add-ins for lengths in your rectangle. So if you know the perimeter but not the lengths, take half the perimeter, think of what you can add together to equal the half, and use the add-ins you thought of as the lengths. So I hope that helps you see the steps. It really is a sequence of things you do. It's not a guess. You don't have to guess. Okay, if it's 12, maybe. And I guess the really big thing that I want you to realize, if they give you the perimeter, you are not using multiplication facts. You are not using multiplication facts if they give you the perimeter. You're actually using addition facts. Okay. That's pretty big. I wish I could be with you and watch you do it. But I can't, so this is the best we can do. Okay, so our strategy for finding rectangles with perimeter of 12, well, that's what I put on here, right? I took half the perimeter, I picked addends that equal half. And then thirdly, I drew the lengths from the addition facts. Okay, so letter C says find the areas of all the rectangles above. Okay, so for the first one, I had one group of 5. Should I give these a letter up here? A, B, and C. So for A, the area was 1 times 5 equals 5. So for B, the area was 2 groups of 4, which equals 8. Okay, so these are units, so this is units squared. Areas always squared, or we could even do it like this, square units. And for C, our side lengths were 3 groups of 3, which equals 9. So area and perimeter measure different things. Okay, I think that's it. The perimeter of all the rectangles are the same. What do you notice about their areas? Well, they want you to go back and think about what you just did. The perimeter was 12. None of the areas was 12. The area changed depending on the length of the sides. So area and perimeter. On the back, you get a chance to do this on your own. So I'm gonna, oh man, I wish I could see you do this. I'm gonna ask you to pause your video and just try this on your own. And I'll leave this right here so that you can see it. Just go step by step and see if you can do it on your own. And then come back and check your work. Okay, let's see how you did. Let's see how you did. This time we have a perimeter of 14 units. Well, my first step was take 14 and divide it in half. My second step, according to my green and yellow piece of paper, was to think of all the ways that you can get 7. And you can get 7 with sides that are 6 and 1, 2 and 5, that equals 7, 3 and 4, that equals 7, 4 and 3. So these are all the opposite pairs, aren't they? So you should have thought of 3 ways that you can get 7. Now we need to draw them. So according to my green sheet of paper, I get to use the addends I made for lengths. So the addends, I chose 1 and 6. I'll do that one first. I'll call it A just to keep it organized. 1 and 6. I'll try to draw them 1 and 6. Are these units again? 14 units. Okay, 1 unit. And then So I did that one. Now for B, I have 2 and 5. 2 and 5. A little fatter and a little shorter. And for C, I have 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Okay, so 3 units by 4 units. All right. So let's think it through. I've drawn them out. Do they actually have a perimeter of 14? I could do a quick 6 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1. Well, 7 and 7 is 14. So I know the perimeter is 14. How about this one? 5 and 2. 5 and 2 plus 5 and 2. That's 14. And how about this one? 3 and 4 is 7. If I double it, the perimeter is 14. So I hope this shows you, maybe you got some of these right, maybe you forgot one of the add-ins, but this method of dividing it in half and thinking of the pairs that equal the half, this is a really, I don't want to say easy because sometimes math isn't clear, but this is a systematic way of making sure you found all the rectangles that you can find with a perimeter of 14. And then you can find the area by multiplying the side lengths. So area is always when you multiply two sides, a height and a width, two lengths. And perimeter is when you add up the outside lengths. So let's see, for A, you would have done 1 times 6, so the area is 6 units squared. And for B, you would have done 2 groups of 5, that array of 2 groups of 5, that equals 10 units squared. And for C, you would have done 3 groups of 4 for the array, for the area. That equals 12 units squared. If you forgot to label that with the square units for area, go back and label it. Perimeter is just regular. Nothing, it's not squared. Squared is for area. Okay. So I think that's all I'm going to do for you today. I encourage you to go find Zearn and make sure, if you can, try to do Zearn 20 for extra practice, because this one really challenges you. Before, perimeter and math was easy, you're just adding up the lengths. This one makes you really think about how perimeter relates to area and how to find the lengths when they give you the perimeter. So here it is. This is our secret for this lesson. There is a method to follow to finding these side lengths. Have a great day, boys and girls.